House Concurrent Resolution 8, whereas every Oregon animal shelters take in tens of thousands of homeless dogs and cats, and whereas an army of dedicated shelter staff, volunteers, animal behaviorists, and veterinarians work hard to ready these dogs and cats for a second chance at finding their permanent home, and whereas Oregonians open their hearts and adopt thousands of rescued shelter dogs and cats every year, and whereas shelter dogs and cats like Oregonians are renowned for their resilience, endurance, and ability to overcome adversity, and whereas many shelter dogs and cats like many Oregonians have come through unimaginable hardship but look to the future with hope and strength, and whereas in the diversity of shelter dogs and cats, which are of every shape and size and from every background, Oregonians are a reflection of themselves, and whereas because shelter dogs and cats embody all breeds, as Oregon's state pet, they would represent the choice of all dog and cat lovers in this state, and whereas like Oregonians, shelter dogs and cats are eager to leave their indoor confines and join their friends in the freedom, beauty, and adventure of Oregon's great outdoors, and whereas Oregon is the land of the second chance, something every shelter dog or cat deserves, and whereas shelter dogs and cats remind us that second chances are worth it, and whereas Oregonians know that adopting a shelter dog or cat rescues 2 lives at once, and whereas like Oregonians, shelter dogs and cats are optimists, knowing that a bright future waits ahead, now therefore be it resolved by the Legislative Assembly of the State of Oregon that we, the members of the 82nd Legislative Assembly, acknowledge Oregon's connection to shelter dogs and cats and designate rescued shelter dogs and cats as the official pet of the state of Oregon.
Recognize Senator Sollman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise today in support of HCR 8. It's been a long time coming. According to Shelter Animal Count's national database, in 2022, 35,002 cats and dogs were brought into the animal shelter in Oregon. These animals were either transferred in from another location, a stray at large, relinquished by their owner, or the owner had intended to have the animal euthanized. Out of those 35,002 cats and dogs, 32,807 of them left the shelters alive. These animals were either adopted, returned to their owner, returned to the adoption process, transferred out, or had another outcome result. While there were many animals that made their way out of the animal shelters, this data shows that these animals are not moving out as quickly as they're coming in. Information, awareness, and advocacy will help that. By designating shelter dogs and cats as Oregon's state pet, HCR 8 will help raise public awareness for shelter animals and the many shelters around the state of Oregon and the countless volunteers that serve those animals. Oregonians love their pets. In fact, according to Oregon's Values and Belief Center, only 4% of Oregonians have never had a pet. 1 in 3 Oregonians adopted a pet since roughly the onset of the pandemic, and nearly 93% of Oregonians consider their pets as part of their family or their fur baby. Personally, my family has welcomed 3 rescue pets, though the question always is, who rescued who? Snoopy was a purebred, wicked smart beagle, and he came to us from Animal Aid. He was with us 15 years of his blessed life, and Cato, our cat, came to us as we saved him from the life as a barn cat. 18 years of feisty love that cat brought us. And Annie is our current terrier rescue love, and she is a vivacious mix of Beagle and Jack Russell. She literally works for carrots and runs for sticks. Animals know when their humans are suffering, and I'll never forget the love that Cato and Snoopy gave me the night my dad passed away. They comfort and give us unconditional love. That is why during the pandemic, fur babies everywhere served our hearts well. As humans crave more companionship, they delivered. I believe our loved fur babies offer companionship, love, and ingrain a healthy level of responsibility and character building to our children and give them plenty of love. We can honor all the wonderful organizations and volunteers across Oregon that are working hard to find homes for these rescue animals and work to control the pet population by doing our part by adopting this policy and making our rescue shelter dogs and cats the official Oregon state pet. Senator Peter Courtney would be proud. Bob Barker would be proud. Betty White would be elated. So I ask you, my friends, for the fur babies everywhere, I ask you for your support to create this awareness to help them find their forever home. Colleagues, thank you, and I respectfully urge your support of HCR 8.
Discussion on the measure. Recognize Senator Gelser-Bluen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Question of the carrier, please.
Question the carrier. Does the carrier yield?
Yes?
The carrier yields.
Thank you. In light of the carrier's carry, I'm wondering, is there a fiscal impact on this bill?
There is not a, thank you for the question. There is not a fiscal impact as far as this will not cost anything. It actually is a considerable savings to the state of Oregon by creating more awareness, because the cost that we incur at our shelters does, at our Oregon Humane Society, does impact our state budget.
Thank you. To the bill.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great bill. I appreciate the great carry, the reference to some of my favorite celebrities, and in the words of Bob Barker, please spay and neuter your pets, and it sounds like the price is right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Bravo. Recognize Senator Finley under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. As someone who 5 years ago sponsored a bill to make the border collie the state pet, it did not work well for me. I would say if we would take the money that we've spent developing this measure and messing with this measure and give it to the humane societies in support of rescue pets, we'd be a lot better off. I don't think we should pick one animal over another as a pet, just like I don't think we should pick one vegetable over another or a bird over another. The vegetables coming later in the session, by the way. I love rescue animals. I have rescue animals. I would think if we spent more time supporting our humane society and our shelters, it would be better off than doing this. I'm a no vote. Thank you.
Senator, recognize Senator Brocksmith.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the resolution. Mr. President, colleagues, I am going to speak about a shelter animal that I have gotten to know and love here in Salem, and it's actually the wonderful rescue dog from our good colleague from the Mount Hood region, and his name is Bruce. Colleagues, and so I don't know how the operations of the Senate floor work exactly, Mr. President. I was going to offer a friendly amendment to the resolution, incorporating our good friend Bruce into the resolution, but I know that I cannot do that, so I will just speak in support of the resolution. But I wanted to put Senator Bonham's our dog, Bruce, on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Additional discussion. Seeing none, Senator Sollman, do you wish to close?
Thank you, Mr. President. I will just say that I appreciate the conversation. Bruce is in this bill because he is a rescue pet, right? That is the beauty of this bill, is it incorporates all those different breeds. We've had a lot of conversation, and why I've said this is a long time coming, because people are saying, why not the German Shepherds? Why not this? Why not that? That is the beauty of this bill, is it still absolutely represents those pets of all breeds. And then bottom line, truly the bottom line, this does save money to our state. And that is incredibly important. And it just builds the beautiful lives of our Oregonians. So thank you so much. And colleagues, I urge your support.
The question now arises upon the third reading and final adoption of House Concurrent Resolution 8. Those who are of the opinion that the measure should be adopted will answer aye as their names are called. Those opposed, no. The clerk will please call the roll.
Jama. Canope. Lieber. Linthicum. Manning. Meek. Patterson. Przanski. Robinson. Brock-Smith. Sollman. Steiner. Taylor. Thatcher. Weber. Woods, Anderson, Bonham, Boquist, Campos, Dembro, Finley, Frederick, Gelser-Bluen, Gerard, Golden, Gorsuch, Hansel, Hayden, President Wagner.
Aye.
Excused, Hansel, Linthicum, Robinson, voting nay, Finley, Gerard, Hayden. 24 ayes.
House Concurrent Resolution 8, having received a constitutional majority, is declared adopted.